Wondering if Katy, Texas is a good place to live? The answer is yes. It's actually a great place. It was ranked number 10 on Niche's best suburbs to live in. But of course, every city has its pros and its cons. I've lived here for about 14 years now, and I'm going to tell you everything I love as well as everything that I don't love about living in Katy. So let's start with one of the pros. One of the best things about Katy is that you are right next to the 4th largest city in America. What does that mean? It means with just a short drive, you have access to world-class dining, all the shopping you could want, sports teams, basketball, baseball, football. We have great concerts. Most artists come here. There's just a ton of stuff to do. You will never get bored, and it's just a short drive down the road. So we love going into the city for the fun stuff and then coming back out to Katy for kind of the quiet suburb life. Another pro for Katy are the schools. I'll be honest, that's exactly why my family picked Katy when we moved here. It's a very highly acclaimed school district, usually ranked very highly nationwide, award-winning schools here. You don't have to pay to send your kid to a private school. You can send them to the public schools here in Katy and they will get a great education. And hey, we're in Texas, Friday Night Lights, right? Katy High School has won the state championship in football 9 years, just saying. So another great thing is the cost of living. Actually, the cost of living in Katy is 3% below the national average, and it's more affordable to live here than it is in our other big cities in Texas, like Dallas and Austin. A lot of people move from the city, from Houston out here, just because they can get a lot more house for their money. We have a lot of affordable housing options. So the cost of living here is something else that draws people. Another thing that people love about Katy are our master plan communities. When this area was developed, people really thought ahead. What are all of the things that somebody might want without having to leave the comfort of their neighborhood? So in these communities, these large neighborhoods that we have, you have a ton of amenities. Parks, multiple swimming pools, dog parks, tennis courts, pickleball courts. A lot of them have their own gym facilities. Some of them even have restaurants within their little community centers. You can go walk down the street, pick up dinner, and bring it home. They really thought of everything that you might possibly want, put them into these communities, something you don't really get when you live inside the city, and people seem to really like it. Last thing I'll say is, first of all, people love that Katy is a very family-friendly area. Probably because of our schools and because of all the things we have to do here, our big neighborhoods, but there's a ton of stuff to do for your family. Everything is very kid-friendly. And not only are we family-friendly, it's actually really diverse here. It's something I think is really cool. Fort Bend is actually the most diverse county in the nation, even more so than New York. And so when you live in your neighborhood and walk down the street, you will have people from all over the world. It's like one giant melting pot, and everybody loves it and gets along really well. So one thing that I wish we had more about here was I wish we had better shopping. We don't have a really nice mall. There is no high-end shopping out in this area. If you want to go to really nice places, you actually have to drive into Houston or into one of the other communities. So with the way this area has grown and all the people here, it always just kind of baffles me that we don't have a better place to go shop. Maybe a shallow thing, but something that I wish we had more of nonetheless. Another thing some people don't love about Katy is since we have a lot of newer communities, our property taxes are higher. The new communities out here where we have new construction have a higher tax rate. That tax rate gets paid off over time. And since a lot of our neighborhoods are not that old, overall our tax rate is higher than if you lived inside the city or in an older neighborhood. One thing I wish we had more of, and depending on where you're moving from, it might not be what you're used to, but Houston in general does not have a lot of mass transit. We are way out here in the suburbs. There's no train you can take to get downtown. The only thing we have is a metro bus that goes from Katy to downtown, and other than that, that's it. We're not a super walkable city. We're pretty spread out. It's a big area. We're in Texas. Everybody likes their space. So that is one thing, especially if you're coming from a city that was really walkable and had really great public transportation to get around. Here, you're going to spend a lot of time in your car. Since Katy is great, a lot of people are moving here. And what happens when you have a town that grows really fast? Well, you have some growing pains. So we have a ton of construction, a ton of road construction, and a lot of traffic because we have a lot of people coming out here and our infrastructure is a little bit behind. So I know it's one of those things that is going to get better one day, but right now it just feels like we've been living in road construction for forever. Another con for Katy, if you're like me and you travel a lot, is we are nowhere near either airport. Houston has 2 airports. They have Bush, which is way up north, and we have Hobby, which is further south. We are at least 45 minutes from both of them, maybe closer to 50 to an hour sometimes, depending on traffic. So if you have a job that requires you to fly a lot, maybe Katy isn't the best place for you because it is a heck of a trek to the airport and back. So there you have it. That's the good, bad, and ugly of living in Katy, Texas. places. Hey, I know I may be biased, but I think here the good stuff outweighs the negative. Every place has its pros and cons, but this is a really great place to live. That's why we have so many people moving here all the time. And if you ever have questions or want to know more about Katy, we are always happy to help.